In 2019, I released my 65th Let's Play for a game called Subnautica. In 2022, I began releasing videos for the sequel, Subnautica Below Zero, which happened to be my 108th Let's Play. In the roughly 4 years between games, I released a total of 43 Let's Plays. As would be expected, I have grown tremendously in terms of how I produce content in that time. So, I thought it might be fun to see just how much I have grown as a professional videographer from 2019 to now. I will be looking at my Let's Plays for both Subnautica and Subnautica Below Zero to see just how far, or not far, I have come since recording the original series. Without further ado, let's get started. The biggest change that may not be noticeable to viewers at home is the hardware upgrades I've made over the years. I have come a long way from the Dell Inspiron I had as a teenager. Thankfully, I made my Subnautica videos on a much better system than that guy. In 2019, the hardware I used was a 15-inch Dell XPS laptop with an Intel i7 processor, 16 GB of RAM, a 512GB solid-state drive, and an NVIDIA GTX 960M graphics card. You can still purchase a newer version of this laptop from the Dell website, but it'll run you about $1,800. It was a solid laptop for the time, but I have since upgraded due to the internal Wi-Fi card dying and sluggish performance on modern games. In 2021, I upgraded to an Alienware Aurora R12 gaming computer with an i9 processor, 128GB of RAM, 5TB of storage across 3 solid-state drives, and an NVIDIA RTX 3090 with 24GB of dedicated graphics memory. This thing is a beast, and I highly recommend it to anyone searching for a high-powered gaming/video production rig. Shout out to Dr. Eugene Gahn at Franciscan University who recommended I purchase this machine. You can also purchase this machine, but I am not going to ruin your life by stating the price. This was an expensive endeavor, and one that I almost did not take on. The frugal person that I am, I was leaning toward repurchasing a newer XPS and keep using it. But I received some good advice from my family. Make the big purchase because otherwise you will kick yourself for years about not doing it. They were right. Using this rig has been a true eye-opener. Gameplay has been smooth as silk and video production efficiency has increased exponentially. Adobe Creative Cloud occasionally gets cranky that I am not running its programs on the Mac, but I can live with that. Besides, there might be a brand new 15-inch MacBook Air in my future. In microphone land, I have used a $20 Logitech H390 headset for years. It was my go-to microphone for recording videos, and was the microphone used in my Let's Play of Subnautica. It's a simple plug-and-play USB mic with okay sound quality. If you don't use the built-in speakers, you may get some echo from loud volume and/or friends. That's the biggest complaint I've received when using it for Discord calls. But starting with Let's Play 99, I decided it was time to invest in better audio equipment. That, and I was also sick of my school projects having derpy sound quality while everyone else sounded far superior. COVID-19 forcing everyone to work from home, and me pursuing a career in video and audio production, was enough of an incentive to upgrade. Buckle up because this is going to be a ride. To get the audio quality I wanted, I would have needed to spend a lot of money and purchase a lot of stuff. My dream microphone was the Shure SM7B. That was easy enough to get after groaning at the $400 price tag, but in order to make it work with my laptop, I needed to purchase an audio interface, an XLR cable, and a microphone stand. Having been scared away from the desk clamp mic stands, I went with a floor stand. I ultimately purchased a Focusrite Scarlett audio interface, an Amazon Basics tripod mic stand, and a 15-foot Lix Pro XLR cable. All said and done, it was a $650 investment, and the best investment I have ever made. In addition to using the equipment for recording Subnautica Below Zero, I've been able to utilize it for my job as well as creating content like this video to use on my portfolio page. It was pretty tight to manage in my college dorm room, but now that I have my own apartment, I was able to build an office from a spare bedroom and leave everything set up full time. I haven't got around to hanging the RGB lights I got for Christmas, so it lacks that true gamer feel for now. I never stooped to the level of using unregistered HyperCam 2 for videos. When making my LP for Subnautica, I used Fraps as my primary recording software. Sure, the files were big, but it captured the gameplay well and even had a convenient FPS counter that changed colors to let me know I was recording. I even got an external hard drive to help me keep more footage. It suited my needs, but I often ran out of space for videos. At the beckoning of a friend, I decided to give Bandicam a try. Whoa! It was a world of a difference. Everything I loved about Fraps was still here, and the large file sizes were gone. I could record for much longer periods of time without worrying about running out of storage space. An average 30-minute episode of Subnautica recorded with Fraps would be about 80 gigabytes worth of data. A similar length episode of Subnautica Below Zero recorded with Bandicam would only be about 15 gigabytes on the higher end. With the space I was saving, I was able to keep more games on my computer and eventually start to archive the footage of previous Let's Plays. This proved useful when I would stumble across an error in Below Zero videos and needed to release a new version. I could have simply pulled the original footage out of my storage drive and re-edited the video to correct the mistake. Big thanks to GeoJet 2000 for opening my eyes to Bandicam. Speaking of editing, let's look at how my editing workflow has changed. For Subnautica, I was using TechSmith's Camtasia as my standard video editing software. I had gotten the license as a teenager when I first showed an interest in video production. It's a fairly basic, non-linear editor with easy-to-use features and a well-constructed interface. It did what I needed it to do, which was drag footage in, make sure the audio sounded good, add text callouts where needed, and export to YouTube. I would need to be careful to not overload the program, as the more media you add to the timeline, the laggier the software gets. When it was time to make Subnautica Below Zero, I was still using Camtasia for simple, quick projects, like clipping something from a show for later use. But for big video projects, I had moved to Adobe Premiere Pro. I was already paying for Creative Cloud in order to use Photoshop and After Effects, so it made sense to move my video workflow to Premiere to get my full money's worth. Premiere had a lot more advanced features than Camtasia. The effects panel alone had more presets than I knew what to do with. By far my favorite thing is the ability to type in hard numbers for effects like position and scale. This took the guesswork out of trying to position content perfectly on the screen. Sure, Camtasia lets you snap to certain parts of the screen, but hard numbers works much better. One day when poking around Bandicam, I discovered something that changed video editing forever. Bandicam allows you to record audio to different tracks in the same video file. Camtasia did not support multi-track audio editing for video files. Premiere Pro did. When I stumbled upon this grand discovery, I immediately began improving audio levels in my video, a common complaint about my early content. It took a few videos to get it right, but I finally found the audio settings I wanted to use for every future video. And with the use of keyframes, I had greater control over when game audio would fade up for cutscenes, and could easily copy and paste the keyframes for multiple cutscenes. Premiere's ability to integrate with the other Adobe products made the production process quick and easy. I could tell Media Encoder to begin exporting episodes I had completed while I continued to work on edits for other episodes. Photoshop lets me work on graphics and make changes without causing the original image to go offline. After Effects assists me with complex edits while keeping the source material intact on the timeline. And once I learned that markers existed, I used it to mark places where I needed to come back and add an edit at a later time. While this feature was not available at the time of production, I had learned that AI video editing was coming. It was a feature that would automatically transcribe the audio in your video, allowing you to search for keywords stated and jump right to that point in the timeline. You can also select words in the transcript to select that portion of the video. Magic. This feature released in time for me to use it to make my LP of Ori and the Will of the Wisps. Trust me when I say it will be used in every future Let's Play I make for my channel. My video style has also evolved over time. If we consider how it was at the start of time, or 2011, I have grown significantly in how I present material. The videos I made back in the day were sadly lost to the winds of time, so I will focus on the stuff we can still view, i.e. Subnautica. I received some advice from a friend who was just getting into YouTube. You should make a catchphrase and say it at the start of each video. Okay, that sounded fun, so I gave it a try.
It's called a game, sweetheart. Welcome back to Subnautica.
Yeah, that wasn't happening. Although I did use that cringe catchphrase for several Let's Plays before deciding it wasn't my style. I don't remember when I dropped the catchphrase usage, but I never looked back once I did. I did not like that I was required to say the exact same thing at the start of every video. I wanted the freedom to start each video as I saw fit. A catchphrase was keeping me down. Similar advice was given from same friend. You should have an animated intro at the start of every video. Alright, easy enough. I once had intros before every video in the early days of the channel, but dropped it in later years. So I created a short 5-second intro and added it to every video. Not gonna lie, it's still a solid intro. But at some point, and I cannot remember the reasons, I decided to drop it in favor of the content kicking off immediately. I think the reasoning was that people might click away if they saw the same intro starting each video. Regardless, the decision stuck, and I don't see myself ever having an animated intro again. The rest of my video style has remained the same. I keep notes handy so I can more easily remember what to do in moments my memory fails. I almost always pre-play games I record so I know what to expect. This allows me to know what needs to be jotted down for later use. Think puzzle solutions and areas where I got stuck during the first playthrough. I like to inform my viewers about the game I am playing, so the more knowledge I have going into production, the better. For Subnautica, I would print out my notes to have handy by my desk. But for Below Zero, I entered the future and used my iPad to have the notes propped up and ready to read. A few years after Let's Play Subnautica released, there was an increased trend of adding extra edits to videos where it's not needed for dramatic effect or to show a clip from some show or movie mentioned. I hated that, still do. But I make what some might consider a weird exception. You may notice there are some times where I will add an annotation to a video to note something I questioned or to provide more information to the viewer on a topic I discussed. I find this an acceptable addition as it helps the viewer to increase their knowledge of the subject and, when it's a link, to quickly fact check my claims. Perhaps I will get more lenient in the future, but I like to keep my videos more educational than the average yell-infested YouTube videos. I would show an example, but I think you'll forgive me for sparing your ears. People close to me often say I'm the old man of the group. It's definitely true that I prefer traditional methods and values more than the majority of people my age. That is reflected in my video style. However, I am also open to change if it means I will be doing what I'm doing, but better. My growth in video production techniques has been influenced by what I learned in school, suggestions from trusted friends, and current trends. They say your videos are never truly finished, they simply escape. There are countless revisions and tweaks you can make to perfect a project. I sometimes look back on old videos and catch things I messed up or wished I had done differently. But there is usually no point in going back to fix those errors. What I can do, though, is take note of what I want to do better and implement it into future projects. That's all anyone can do. I know a year from now I will watch this video and see things I wish I'd done differently. But I will not release a new version of this video. I will take what I've learned and apply it to whatever comes next. Thanks for watching. If you haven't already, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel for more videos. If you want to help support me financially and help make future Let's Plays possible, consider becoming a member by clicking the join button. Early access members get to watch my new videos months before the public.